And we're back with 2023's review breakdown. This is part of an ongoing series I've been doing where I cover my reviews for basically an entire chunk of, well, a year. I forgot the intro. Hi, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and this is 2023's review breakdown. It's a series that I've been doing, a series of 6 videos covering 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and then eventually a recap that I haven't yet decided whether it will be live or just recorded. But either way, this is covering 2023's kind of year in review as far as my reviews that I gave out in 2023. To that end, a short recap as far as average rating goes. My current average rating for current is you can't change it anymore. My average rating for games I covered in 2023 was a 3.55. This is down from specifically it was a 3.69 in 2020, a 3.61 in 2021, a 3.69 again in 2022, and then a 3.55 in 2023. I covered in 2023, I did 329 reviews. This is the highest number I've ever done in a year. It does not ever get higher, at least, well, I mean, ever is a loose term. 2024 was lower again, but I did 72 reviews in 2020. I did 209 reviews in 2021, 262 reviews in 2022, and 329 reviews in 2023. The breakdown of these scores are as follows. I had 2 1.5s I gave in 2023. I have 3 2s I gave, and this is 2 1.5 out of 5s, 3 2 out of 5s. I did 19 2.5 out of 5s, 73 out of 5s, 121 3.5 out of 5s, 77 4 out of 5s, 27 4.5 out of 5s, and 10 5 out of 5s. If you've been following this series so far, you can definitely see there's a bit more of a drift towards being a drop more critical. Nothing crazy. Again, dropping from a 3.69 to a 3.55 is not huge, but across the number of reviews, that does have a decent chunk in the actual average. But yeah, definitely been a bit more restrictive as time went on to being a bit more critical on average, very minorly, no major shifts. My opinions didn't go from a game is good to a game is bad, but whenever I have that half point sliding, like does it deserve a 3.5, it does deserve a 3, I've been shifting a drop more towards a little bit more restrictive whenever I'm given the opportunity. You can see this even in last year's breakdown of 2022, well, not last year's breakdown, the breakdown of 2022 reviews, there was I think there were 14 4.5s and 17 5s, versus this year there's 27 4.5s and 10 5s, meaning there's definitely a larger shift towards 4.5s, just erring on the side of does it really deserve a 5 out of 5, although there's some interesting background to that as well that we'll get into in this video. My most common rating is a 3.5 out of 5, as you can see, with 121 3.5 out of 5s, and then a very narrow split between 73s right before it and 77 4s right after it. So I'm a bit more inclined to give a 4 than a 3, although that does make sense. I do generally find that games are more satisfying than not. A 3 is usually a game that is just kind of forgettable. It was fun, but I don't care at all. I just don't care. I had fun playing it, move on next. Whereas a 3.5 is already a good game, and I do find most games are good games, but I only get to the recommendation point at 4s because there's too many 3.5s to recommend a game just because it's good. So that's kind of the overall breakdown over there. As far as the games that got a 1.5, those were 2, Block and Guess. It was a party game that I got from Gen Con that I really thought failed horribly at what it was trying to do. And then Epic 7 Arise, I thought was a mess. A good premise, I wanted to like it, but I thought it was a mess in terms of components, in terms of rules, and in terms of the general gameplay. My 2 out of 5s are less notable or interesting, but I had Come On Bite Me, Oh My Brain, and Roll for Great Old Ones. The first 2 weren't really on my radar. They just weren't really great games. Roll for Great Old Ones was actually a campaign I backed that I was excited for, and I was very disappointed that I just did not like the game. I thought it was kind of a miss overall. As far as my 4.5s, we have a whole lot over here, so I'm going to rattle through these pretty quickly, but I will have some notes on the things that I think are interesting. We had 20 Strong, 7 Wonders Duel, 20 Strong, 7 Wonders Duel, Ancient Realms, Apiary, Assassin's Creed Apocalypse, Beast Shattered Isles, Carson City, Endeavor Deep Sea, Everdell Farshore, 4 Northwood, 4 Shuffle, Framework, General Orders World War II, Innovation, Junk Drawer, Marrakesh, Marvel United Multiverse specifically. The Marvel United Spider-Geddon specifically, Massive Darkness Hellscape, Match of the Century, My City, Naturopolis, Run, Spiritfire, Trailblazers, Wayfarers of the South Tigris, and Wizards of the Grimoire, as well as the Wizards of the Grimoire Shifting Sands expansion. Those are the 27 4.5s out of 5s. Honestly, I think most of those are still here, if not all of them. I think all of them might be still here. They might all still be here. Like I think they're all still in my collection. Then from there we have my 5 out of 5s, and I'll get to the interesting notes soon. We have my 5 out of 5s, which were A Feast for Odin, Cyclades, DEI, which is Divide et Impera from Lewis Magna Studios, Expeditions, Marvel United Multiverse, Mythic Mischief 2 specifically. I'd already covered Mythic Mischief. Mythic Mischief 2, Revive, Sankori, Teneris Adventures, and Ticket to Ride Legends of the West were my 5 out of 5s. I will say this year has the highest amount of 5 out of 5s that stayed 5 out of 5s. The only one that shifted was Teneris Adventures, dropped to a 4.5. The others are still 5 out of 5 games to me that I think are absolutely amazing and definitely recommend that you check out in any way, shape, or form. If they seem remotely interesting, check them out. They're great games. On the other hand, my 4.5s, a bunch of them shifted upwards. Again, this goes back to me being a drop more conservative in my ratings, where sometimes if I wasn't sure, I gave it a 4.5, and then if time goes on and I think it sticks the landing, it did get the 5 out of 5 later. Not in the video, unfortunately, but in later recaps or in top 100s or things like that. To that end, the games that I moved to a 5 out of 5 are Seven Wonders Duel, Ancient Realms, Everdell Farshore, For Northwood, Marvel United Spider-Geddon, My City, and Trailblazers. So 7 of those 27 4.5s actually became 5s later, which means if I had done the breakdown properly, instead of being 27 and 10, it would have been 20 and 17. And I'm still fine with this. I'd rather err on the side of caution. Like, I'd rather have a kind of look back where my 5s didn't shift downwards and my 4.5 shifted upwards. I'd much rather that aspect. I think I take more of a mental responsibility to, if I'm really excited about a game and I love it and it's a 5 out of 5 and then later it's a 4, I feel bad about that. Versus if I'm really excited about a game and I give it a 4.5 and then later it becomes a 5, that's fine with me. That's a game sticking the landing. That's a game lasting and not just having the initial appeal, but continuing to hold up across multiple plays, whatever it is that ends up continuously changing it. But in any case, by the way, some of those games are incredible. For Northwood and Trailblazers, some of my absolute favorite games to play, both as well, as I say, both multiplayer and solo, but that's true for Trailblazers. For Northwood is just solo. That is basically my breakdown overall. Most of those are still 5s, like I said already. Acropolis dropped. No, Acropolis is from last video. I meant to say Teneris Adventures is the one that dropped. But overall, that is my breakdown of 2023. No major changes, nothing crazy going on here, but the amount of reviews shifted up, although it will shift down a bit in 2024. The average rating was 3.55, which is my lowest so far, although we will see what 2024 brings. And overall, I seem to be shifting a drop more to the middle, a little bit away from the end of the positive side, and shifting just to being a bit more mindful. In any case, then until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. This has been your 2023 review breakdown, and we'll be back with 2024 at some point. And I hope you have a good one.